It all started on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday. I remember the sun was streaming through the kitchen window, catching the dust motes dancing in the air. My wife, Clara, was humming a cheerful tune while making coffee, just like she did every morning. We'd been married for 7 years, and to me, our life was a comfortable, happy routine. We were that couple, the one our friends looked at and said, "That's what I want." Solid. Unbreakable. Or so I thought. That evening I was scrolling through social media, just killing time before dinner. A notification popped up. A friend had tagged me in a photo. I clicked on it, expecting to see a picture from last weekend's barbecue. But it wasn't that. It was a group shot from a local music festival I knew Clara hadn't attended. She'd told me she was going on a work retreat that weekend, a mandatory team-building event in the mountains. I remember her packing, complaining about the spotty cell service she expected. But there she was, in the photo. She was standing in the middle of a laughing crowd, a flower crown perched jauntily on her head. She looked radiant, happier than I'd seen her in months. But it wasn't her presence that made my heart stop. It was the man standing next to her. His arm was wrapped securely around her waist, his head leaning in close to hers, a look of pure adoration on his face. And Clara? She was leaning right back into him, her smile aimed directly at him. It was a look I knew well. It was the look she used to give me. My first thought was denial. It must be a mistake. A look-alike. The photo was a bit blurry. Maybe I was just seeing things. I zoomed in. My stomach lurched. There was no mistake. It was her. The delicate silver necklace I gave her for our anniversary was glinting at her throat. The man was one of her colleagues, a guy named Alex. I'd met him once or twice at company parties. He was charming, handsome, the kind of guy you feel a little insecure around but tell yourself you're being silly. I confronted her that night. I kept my voice calm, even though a hurricane was raging inside me. I showed her the photo on my phone. "I thought you were at a work retreat," I said, the words feeling like shards of glass in my mouth. The color drained from her face. For a moment she was speechless, her eyes darting between the photo and my face. Then the lies started. "Oh, that's just Alex. We all went out after the retreat finished early. It's not what it looks like, honey. He's just a friend." The excuses tumbled out, one after another, each one more flimsy than the last. She insisted the angle was misleading, that his arm was just there, that it was all a big misunderstanding. But the photo had cracked open a door I never knew existed, and now I couldn't stop looking through it. Over the next few days, I became a detective in my own home. Her phone, which was once left carelessly on the counter, was now always with her, screen down. Late-night work emergencies became more frequent. The password on her laptop was changed. Every little thing was a potential clue, a piece of a puzzle I was terrified to solve. The trust we had built over 7 years was crumbling into dust. I felt like I was living with a stranger, the woman who slept next to me every night, who I shared my deepest fears and dreams with, had a secret life. The comfortable, happy routine we had was just a performance, and I was the unsuspecting audience. The final confirmation came from a place I least expected. I was cleaning out our shared car and found a small receipt wedged between the passenger seat and the center console. It was from a fancy little boutique hotel downtown, dated for the first night of her supposed work retreat. The charge was for a deluxe room, 2 people. Underneath the room charge was a line item for a bottle of champagne. My hands were shaking as I held the thin piece of paper. It felt heavier than a tombstone. There was no more room for denial, no more space for her weak explanations. The photo was the spark, but this receipt was the inferno. It burned away every last shred of hope I had that this was a misunderstanding. The web of lies wasn't just a few stray threads. It was an intricate, carefully woven tapestry that had shrouded my reality for who knows how long. That evening, I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just laid the hotel receipt on the kitchen table next to a printout of the photo. When she came home, she saw them and just stopped. The fight went out of her eyes. There were no more lies left to tell. The silence in that room was deafening. It was the sound of our marriage ending. It's been a year since that day. The divorce was finalized 6 months ago. The healing process has been slow and painful, like learning to walk again after a brutal injury. There are days when the anger and betrayal feel as fresh as they did that first night. But there are also days when I feel a sense of relief. The truth, as devastating as it was, set me free. I'm no longer living a lie, no longer a clueless actor in someone else's play. I learned that sometimes the life you think is perfect is just an illusion, and sometimes all it takes is one single random photo to shatter that illusion and show you the truth you never saw coming. It's a hard lesson, but it's one I needed to learn to start building a new life, one based on honesty and genuine happiness. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone and that things can get better. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. It really helps a lot. Take care.